Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Worst Birthday Podcast. I'm Michael Kosta. Thank you for listening. We have a shitload of new listeners, thanks to iTunes, for putting this podcast on the new and noteworthy link category. Thank you for that. Yeah, I was like checking the downloads, and all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, there's a lot more downloads. And then I went to iTunes, just because I do that sometimes, and it's like, here we are, number 2 or something on the new and noteworthy. So thank you very much, iTunes. Thank you. Maybe it's because I moved over to All Things Comedy. Maybe it's because I have a new logo. Maybe it's because the podcast is fucking awesome and everybody can relate to having a worse birthday. So I want to thank you very much for that. Thank you, new listeners. I make these intros very short because no one really cares too much about the intro. After the podcast, I also offer about 5 minutes of my opinions. So feel free to listen to that. You can check out the podcast, worstbirthday.com. Please, if you're going to tweet to us, please use the hashtag worstbdaypod. You can email me any suggestions or suggestions on guests that you would like, michael@michaelkosta.com. My Twitter is @MichaelKosta. My Instagram is @MichaelKosta. My webpage is michaelkosta.com. Upcoming dates, Stanford & Sons in Kansas City, Dr. Grins in Michigan, a lot of good stuff, which you can all find on my website, michaelkosta.com. You can listen to me rabble the Wimbledon finals, men's and women's, where you can watch the match and hear my commentary on the tennis. And by the way, we don't talk about tennis half the time. I just talk shit. Thank you for listening. Rick Ingraham is a fantastic stand-up comedian. He is the guest on this week's Worst Birthday Podcast. This is a great worst birthday. Just listen. I mean, it's a testament to our healthcare system, to stand-up comedy, to the Comedy Store, to diabetes, to doctors. This is an interesting fucking story. It's sad, it's exciting, it's funny. Most of all, I love Rick Ingraham as a comedian, as a person. I can't say I love him because that's tough to really get to that level with somebody, but he's a tremendous comic, and I am very happy that he is healthy and better. So please listen. Worst B-Day Pod. This is Michael Kosta. Thank you for listening to the Worst Birthday Podcast, now on the All Things Comedy Network and iTunes new and noteworthy. Say that 5 times fast. Suck my dick, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Worst Birthday Podcast. Walter, speak. That's my dog. Okay, love you guys. Bye. Good to go.
Yes.
Rick Ingraham, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's above the belly room at the Comedy Store? I've never even been up there.
If you keep going up the creepy steps, and I mean it's as creepy as they get.
It's very creepy up there.
It's one of the alleged haunted places of the Comedy Store.
Correct.
Some guy who was a phone guy got pushed down the stairs by a ghost, he claims. Probably just was on drugs and fell down the stairs. But
what year was that happening?
I want to say that was late 80s, early 90s.
And how long have you been there?
I've been there since 2002.
But I feel like, Rick,
I've always been there.
I feel like you have been there a lot, a long time.
Yeah, it's pretty much the only spot that gives me ample stage time, so I'm always there.
Have you tried a lot of other places?
Yeah, I mean, I send in my avails to the Factory and the Improv, and the Improv gave me the first official spot in like 3 years a couple weeks ago. And when they called me, I was like, "This isn't a good sign."
This is weird.
and I was right. It was the late show on a Friday.
Yeah, it's
and there was 4 people. We started 45 minutes late.
Yeah,
they had a music duo comedy team hosting.
Shit.
And it was a nightmare.
I mean, you're one of these guys. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but is so funny. Yet I don't see you at a lot of other places, and it must be frustrating to you.
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm at that point now where I'm kind of just fed up. Where it's like for years I was like, oh, I'll just I'll get in. And,
yeah.
I've been passed at these places, but I don't have any credits.
Sure.
That seems to hold me back from a lot of places.
And I think for some comics that are listening, they think like, okay, once you get past the Laugh Factory, it's good to go after that.
Right.
Getting past is very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
Then you still got to get booked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember Jamie passed me probably 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I did. It was when there was a Laugh Factory in New York.
Yeah.
And I did shows there with Dice.
Okay.
And, he told me, if you come back to L.A., we give you stage time. You're passed. And then I started sending in my avails. And I got spots there once a month.
Yeah.
Probably for 2 years. And then I never saw Jamie at all in that time.
Of course.
and then, it's been pretty rare since then.
It's easy to look at that negatively. It's also easy, and hopefully we can look at it positively and saying, thank God for the Comedy Store.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very thankful.
This place is corrupt,
Yep.
bitter, dark, depressive, and
it's
awesome.
Everything I am and more. Yeah, it's great. It's always been good to me. I worked there years ago, and but yeah, it's nice. It's a renaissance of times too there now.
Isn't it? It's crazy, isn't it?
So much better than it was. I mean, when I got there, it was dark days.
I mean, so you were there 2002. I was past there 2013, maybe 12.
Okay.
And it was like there was maybe a feeling of like something's about to happen.
Better.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you and like Bobby Lee and Ari, and they were like, dude, you don't know the shit that's gone down. I mean, people were having sex in the green rooms all the time.
I mean, there was so little going on there that there was people that would just have sex in the main room on like a Thursday night at like 10.
Yeah, right.
Because no one was going in there.
Was going in there.
It was, the whole building was dark. I mean, for the first 7 or 8 years I was there, it was probably less than 100 people every night.
That's crazy to me.
A decade, close to a decade.
And now
it's sold out.
Sunday night, it's sold out.
Yeah.
Louis popped in yesterday, sold out main room.
Yeah.
It's crazy. For those of you that don't know the Comedy Store, this is a place that on the Hollywood Haunted Tours bus stops in front of it.
Yeah.
You'll be standing out there drinking. I'm drinking, you're not, and I mean that respectfully.
Yeah.
And the fucking ghost bus stops in.
Yeah.
What are they talking about? Do you know?
Before it was the Comedy Store, was a place called Ciro's,
right,
which was like a gangster nightclub back in the day. They had, there's like Frank Sinatra was arrested for punching a guy in the face there.
Oh, sweet.
And Dean Martin used to perform there a lot, and it just had a lot of mafia ties. So there's rumors, and if you go to the Comedy Store, you'll see there's just endless rooms that have no purpose.
Well, that's what we were talking before we started recording. It's like you're like, oh, there's a podcast room upstairs, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And
apparently the mob used to they'd off people there from time to time.
Because there's tunnels in the basement.
Yeah.
I've been to back before they locked up certain very not safe areas.
Yeah.
I went down to the basement, and there's like tunnels that one of them goes across Sunset.
Yeah.
One of them, I mean, in these tunnels, ladies and gentlemen, you could like open the door and go in the tunnel. It's not like they cemented them shut, at least that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their status is currently.
You don't know the tunnel status?
I know they prevent you from going in there now, but they had all sorts of things. There was, I guess, fear of raids and stuff, so they had them open so whoever was not supposed to be anywhere could escape. But
I always pictured it as just like someone's mistress shows up.
Right.
Or someone's wife shows up and it's like, get this fucking, run her out, run the wife out, whatever.
Take it through the tunnel.
What's the name of the Comedy Store podcast?
It's just called the Comedy Store Podcast. Yeah.
And you host it, but you're having an issue with people canceling and all this shit.
Yeah, you get a lot of people will say they'll do it, and then whenever it is you arrange to do it, we're real flexible with that, too. It's just like, listen,
at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, we can do it.
There anywhere, man.
We can do it whenever you want. So if you have a spot, we'll do it before or after, and people say, okay, and then, listen, I got to go.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people who cancel like 10 minutes before because some quasi-attractive girl is giving them the slightest bit of attention.
Did you live in New York at one point?
No.
You never did? Okay, because you mentioned New York. But the comedy, I used to play this place called Dangerfields.
Okay, yeah.
But it reminds me of the Comedy Store in its look. But the Comedy Store is like relevant and has funny comedians.
Yeah.
And Dangerfields, sadly, is not. I love you, Dangerfields, but you're not. But it just reminds me of that kind of feel. But
the Laugh Factory, when it was in New York, was very Comedy Store.
It was?
esque, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. But it was like in an old one of the old porn sections that got shut down.
Yeah, that was that and, maybe like Midtown or yeah, exactly. There was like a whole, I guess, all these seedy joints.
Yeah, and Giuliani, I guess, closed them all down or whatever.
Dickhead.
But there was like three or four different comedy rooms. There was only one going at the time.
Sure.
But it was the same type of thing where it's like the building was just historically creepy in all the right ways.
It's perfect. Comedy. Do you believe comedy comes from darkness?
I think so.
You think so?
I mean, it obviously doesn't have to, but I think real good comedy has a tendency to do so.
Does yours?
Yeah, probably.
What's the darkness?
I guess just bitterness, frustration.
Yeah, okay.
In general.
I mean, I was curious to see you perform the other day at the Belly Room when we did Flynn's show, because I always, for a while there, I was always following you.
Yeah.
For like a year. You know, it was like Rick and then Michael. And it's a super fun, difficult challenge because you involve the audience so much. And we've talked about this. I wouldn't necessarily say it's crowd work, but you're going in there.
Yeah.
You're going in there. But at the Belly Room the other night, you didn't do any of that. You did very funny, just written, prepared material.
Yeah.
Careful. That happens all the time on every podcast. It's okay. I have a dog, ladies and gentlemen, named Walter, and the screen almost just landed on him. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, I'm consciously trying.
We'll just leave this. Yeah, tell me. Go ahead.
I'm consciously trying to do material.
Why are you?
Just in hopes that it might help my career in some way.
Because you think that TV credit or whatever, because you can't do crowd work on TV.
Right. I've been told that lots of times. I've done a couple showcases, for Conan, Tonight Show, that kind of stuff, and they always just would say, "You're really funny, but we want to know word for word what you're going to say."
But why not? But
I just think they're scared.
I think it's such a fucking pussy cop-out.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be awesome if someone came out on late night and said, "Oh, anybody from Canada?"
Right.
Bam, Canada bid. Whatever,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would.
And you would feel comfortable to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a worst-case scenario, you have me do 10 minutes, and then you edit whatever it is you don't like out.
Correct.
Or, they have all the time where comics are supposed to go on and they cut it for time or whatever.
Yep.
So record me one night and see.
Give it a shot.
What happens.
I mean, do you know Ian Bagg?
Yeah.
So Ian's a hilarious comedian. I guess you would call him a crowd work comedian. A lot of wind blowing in here, folks. A lot of wind. I got the sense that he was fighting the same battle. It's like I would put him up there as one of the funniest people in town, as I would you, yet TV was always like, what are we supposed to do with you? I don't know. Try
anything.
It. Do something different.
Yeah, that's what I always felt. It's just like, what would your sitcom be about if you're not talking about you?
Right.
It could be about anything.
Right.
Like,
we could
put my character in any situation.
You may be tired of answering these questions, but I haven't heard the answer to them. So you feel like Rick Ingraham needs to start doing more written material.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even really get representation in this town because no one knows how to think outside the box, really.
But they've seen you? Have they come and seen you?
Some people have.
Some people have, yeah.
Not a lot, but...
Who got you past at the Comedy Store, meaning you got yourself past, but who kind of helped you and pushed you in?
Oh, well, I was... I got a job as a doorman there.
Love it.
And so I went in kind of the old school way.
Yep.
And I was
Which
really
is
young.
what? Explain that to people.
The way that the Comedy Store used to be is pretty much all the jobs were handled by comedians, and it was a way of kind of like giving you an in at the same time completely illegally abusing the system.
It's like, what other industry would that be allowed? Oh, you want to be a
great.
Yeah, exactly.
And they actually got they pay them hourly now, but when I worked there, you got $25 a night.
Jesus,
and you worked
Christ.
8-hour shifts. And you just had to, it was just the deal, but it was like, this is the way to get in. And I was young and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was 21 years old.
Sure.
And,
but that was 2002 or that was?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and I didn't care. I worked at a crappy restaurant as a waiter during the day, and then I'd work at the Comedy Store at night. They wouldn't let me work phone shifts at the Comedy Store because they felt I had a bad attitude. So they're like, you're door guy, security, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and then you would work your way up through Sunday to Monday night shows?
Yeah, you do the open mics, and back then Mitzi was still around.
Sure.
And she would make you showcase to be a doorman.
Oh, my God.
And so I got hired because she wasn't
Showcase
around quite
comedy.
as much. Yeah.
You're not showcasing doorman skills.
Yeah.
They don't give two fucks about that.
Yeah, she just wants to know, like, if you didn't realistically have a chance at ever being a comedian, she would not allow you to work there.
Okay.
So originally it was you had to showcase, and then if she liked you, you could work the door. But she wasn't around as much at this point, so they gave me a job, and they're like, at some point she's going to come in and do showcases, and you're going to have to showcase for your job. Like,
Jesus Christ.
So I worked there for probably about 6 months, and then she came in one night.
She did?
To pass. She came in a couple times, but there was one night where there wasn't. She stuck around longer, and it was like, all right, we're going to put up more people. And she came that night to pass Ari Shaffir.
Got it.
He had showcased like a Gary Shandling number of times. Right. It was just like 40 showcases, and she'd be like, no. But
he's not ready.
Yeah, he's not ready.
I'm doing Tommy. Sorry, I'm doing Tommy.
It's the same thing at this point. So yeah, she came in past Ari, and Ari went up, did great. She passed him.
Yep.
And she passed Kirk Fox that night.
Okay.
And then they went through, I want to say 6 or 7 comics, and it was not good.
Would she pass him immediately?
Yeah, she passed him pretty. I mean, I think that was Kirk's first showcase.
Like, no, what I mean is Kirk
she'll
gets
tell
off
you.
stage?
Yeah.
Jesus.
She sits at the back chair right by the back door, so in order to leave, you have to walk by her.
And this is the OR?
In the OR, yeah.
And she's literally holding up, I mean, she's not holding a thumb up, but she's literally saying, come here and talk to me?
If she passed you, she would call you over.
Jesus.
And if she didn't pass you but didn't hate you, she just would ignore you.
Right.
And if she really hated you, she'd call you over and basically tell you to get the F out.
Fuck
yeah,
out.
Just go.
There's something beautiful about a dictatorship. You know, like when it works in your favor, great.
Right.
But it's like, what else works like this?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's an insane system.
It's an insane system, yeah.
So I wasn't even supposed to showcase.
Okay.
And then a bunch of people, other door guys, basically went into hiding.
Yep.
And the guy who was hosting that night came to the back door where I was stuck working.
Right.
And just said, I can't find so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. You're next.
Great.
I was like, oh, okay.
But this is why you took the $25.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is it.
And so they told, they set me up, you're showcasing for your job. And, I think I was doing 5 minutes or something. So
this is like saying to the field goal kicker, like, don't miss the kick.
Yeah.
It's like the game's on the line.
Yeah,
okay,
everything's...
I don't need you to... I know that.
Yeah, I'm aware of what this means.
Yeah.
The scary lady is sitting in there.
Yeah.
And so I went up, and back then this was in the really dark period of crowds.
Sure.
There was probably 8 or 9 people in the crowd and about 20 comics all sitting around just judging. And
of course, yeah. No one judges harder than comics that are angry that you have the opportunity and they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the open micers who were there that night were guys that I did open mic with, and they weren't happy with the fact that I got a job and they didn't.
They're supportive of you until you have a little success.
Any sort of success.
Exactly, yeah.
So I went up and acted like a dumbass, did my normal thing.
Which was material, or I'm not trying to be disrespectful when I say that. Like,
no,
were you jumping into the crowd, or were you?
No.
Okay.
That wasn't for a couple of years.
Okay.
I did material. I used to do impressions and sorts of terrible things.
Rick Ingraham used to do impressions?
Yeah, that's how I started. I started comedy in Kansas City, and all I did was impressions back then. But
is that where you grew up?
Yeah.
Okay. And where was your first comedy set?
Stanford and Sons Comedy Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard wonderful things about that owner.
Yeah, he's not a complete psychopath at all.
I mean, people literally, you mentioned that club, and they're like, just so you know, the owner's a crazy person.
Yeah, my first paying gig was a $15 MC set on like a Wednesday.
Sure.
After I opened the show, he brought me, hey, you want to do the payout now? I was just like, okay, whatever. And when he's like, you want the money or you want it in Coke?
Shut up.
I was like, how much is $15 of Coke? You could sell it. I'm not selling
what
Coke.
The fuck? This is real.
Yeah.
I always heard stories of this stuff.
Yeah,
I never heard that it actually fucking happened. What is $15 of Coke?
He didn't even put it out because I was just. I mean, I assume it's like a key bump. Maybe I don't even know. I was just like, just give me the cash.
Yeah,
are you sure? Yeah,
yes,
I'm pretty
sure, bro.
Yeah, he's a kind of a nightmare, but
that's funny.
He's amusing as long as you're looking at it from outside.
Correct.
It's just when you need him to pay you for like a weekend, and he's
Coke.
like, "Listen, I know we agreed on $3,000, but how about $750?"
No, thank you.
No, I don't think that's a good deal at all.
Oh, interesting. Comedy club owners everywhere.
Yeah.
So that started it. You did your set and Mitzi.
Oh yeah, so I did my set and it was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It was a lot better than I feared it might be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walked off stage and was just really hoping to not get the old lady finger. You're fired.
Yeah, you're
terrible.
no good at this.
But she called me over and told me to sit down next to her. And back then, Duncan was the assistant talent coordinator, Duncan Trussell.
No shit.
Yeah.
God, it's funny. One thing that's so funny about the Comedy Store is the people that had those jobs actually became funny comedians. A lot of clubs you go and that guy, they did comedy, but they never were good at comedy.
Right.
They never got good. Like to hear that Duncan was assistant talent coordinator.
As bizarre as he is, too.
Yeah, and as bizarre, but they're actually accomplished, super funny comedians.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very interesting, yeah.
So Duncan moved over, and I sat down next to Mitzi, and whoever was next on the showcase already was back on stage, and she was just having a loud conversation, as if that wasn't happening.
And that person is probably dying to have Mitzi watch her.
Yeah, probably been waiting for a long time. And she's talking to me about where I'm from and how Midwest comics are great.
Okay, good. I like that.
She just said basically, you need more stage. You need to be going up more. And,
Yep.
But you're funny and whatever. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
She didn't specifically say like your past. She just told me I was great and thanks for showcasing whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I ran just like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. And then Duncan came back and was like, man, that was great. Mitzi passed you. And then I just thought, Duncan.
So you didn't really officially get like your pass until Duncan told you.
Yeah, Duncan told me like maybe half an hour later, and then I assumed he was fucking with me.
Yeah, of course,
because I was the young guy, and all the other employees fucked with me all the time.
Of course, the Comedy Store is the kind of place where you go inside and for a second, and someone sees your phone and snaps pictures of their dick and sends it to everyone in your
right.
contact. It's the kind of place.
Yeah, it is for sure.
The default is that it's a joke.
Yeah, always.
And
I just didn't believe him, and he's for like 5 minutes tried to convince me, which made it seem even more like God, I'm an asshole. But yeah, and then at the end of the night when Mitzi walked out or whatever, I had to help her to her car.
Sure.
And she had, I can't remember who her assistant was, Mike.
Okay.
Mike something was her assistant, never to be heard from again after he got fired. But he was a comic who, it was one of the worst jobs, everyone always would say, because you could get in real close with Mitzi because you had to essentially be her actual assistant.
Sure.
But as soon as she disliked you, you were banished forever.
Oh, God damn it. Right. So it's like, yeah, exactly.
So this guy, Mike, was moving his car, getting his car ready to go, and I kind of helped her over to her car, and she told me to call in my avails the next day or whatever, and I was like, oh,
holy shit!
This is real.
Holy shit!
So she passed me, and then basically didn't give me a spot for a couple of years.
Okay,
but I was always there working, so I just do the late night pop-ins. And
your name was on the wall.
Yeah,
which is a big deal.
Yeah, that's a courtesy of Kurt Fox. They hadn't painted names on the wall in like 14 years. Or something.
Is that right?
Yeah,
and, I always assumed that's always been happening.
No, they hadn't done it in over a decade, and then Kirk.
Is that why there's so much space between some of the names? Yeah, this
probably.
Where I am now, it's just like. Psh. So what happened? I haven't heard this. So what happened?
Kirk called the Comedy Store, and he really wanted his name painted on the wall. And they were just basically like, "Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, Kirk, we
do
don't
that
do
anymore,
that, bro."
And he offered. He said, "Well, I'll pay for my name." And they're like, "Yeah, it's not really how it works."
Is this something that Kirk would tell me, or are you telling us inside information?
I mean, I've heard Kirk talk about it, how proud he is that he.
I can't wait to hear this from him. This is great.
So then they said, "No, you can't pay to put your own name on there. That's not how it works." And then his response was, "What if I pay to put all the names up?"
I like that.
And they were like, "Okay."
I like that.
Mitzi was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good deal." So they put up like 100 of us or something from like. It was from like 1993 to 2004.
Did Kirk pay for it?
Kirk paid for it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Mitzi, the offer is all you need.
Yeah.
You should still pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great.
He did, and it was awesome. And then my name's right by the back door.
Yep.
And then I had to sit at the back door and check IDs directly underneath my name. Do someday, bro. And actually,
it's
today.
Right there. It's right there. It's such a funny. I remember it's such a weird dichotomy comedy because I remember like working with Hormos on the road, and he was like hilarious and funny, and it was like, man, he was crushing. And then literally the next night, I see him pushing like a mop to clean up someone's puke in the bathroom. Yeah. And God damn, it's like it's already a humbling job.
Yeah, it's tough.
Every time you're up there and it doesn't go fantastic, it's humbling.
Yeah.
And yet that it'll make you,
I had a couple times where, again, I'd always go up late because I'd do pop-ins back then, but I'd get off stage feeling like...
This dog is... I'm sorry. This is the first podcast we've done with Walter.
He's great.
He's cute, but he doesn't really... He doesn't understand that I'm allowed to give attention to somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know why he's
not happy.
He's got a little mini tennis ball. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'd get off at like 1 in the morning for having like a pretty decent set for, the 10 people that were there or whatever, and then... immediately get off stage and someone would hand me the mop. Be like, toilet's overflowing in the women's restroom. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say, hey, this joke could use this tag. Instead, it's no, you got to go clean that shit up.
No, way worse than that.
Yeah.
And then like having to watch some of the people that you just performed for walk out and just look at you, just mopping a turd into a corner.
Brian Regan tells us about when he worked at some comedy club. He used to go up, but then he would also have to take the trash out.
Yeah.
So he would see the audience as he's taking the trash out. It's just so humbling.
Yeah, it's a terrible experience.
Whenever I would get late spots, I would always end up drinking beforehand.
Yeah, I as well. I was.
Did you used to drink?
Yeah, I just quit drinking when I found out I was diabetic.
Okay. Which was when?
5 years ago.
Okay.
Just over 5 years ago. I was sick for a couple years, but I didn't officially figure out what was actually wrong with me until 5 years ago.
Was it a search to find out what was wrong with you, or you just didn't feel well?
I was pretty sick all the time for a couple years, and I went to a bunch of doctors, and I didn't have health insurance, so I was spending a lot of money and basically just getting misdiagnosed.
And no one fucking thought to check you for diabetes.
No one thought a simple prick of the finger test would work.
And this is hold on, Walter, stop! What are you doing, dude? I'm talking to Rick. He's telling me about it while he's sick, and you're fucking trying to get your tennis ball.
Oh, I was so confused. Like, what's he doing?
Get your fucking... Sorry, everybody. Jesus Christ. This fucking dog. I'm trying to talk to Rick, and this is why I wasn't sure if this was the right idea to have the dog here, but we'll live and learn. It's a very, very common...
Yeah.
Is it a disease?
Yeah, it's a disease.
My father's diabetic.
Yeah.
You would think that'd be the first thing they would check.
Well, I guess the issue was... I had a lot of stomach issues, and I'd throw up a lot. And, but I was in my late 20s, and I was skinny.
Yep.
So usually people who get type 2 diabetes are heavier set or older.
Right.
And people who get type 1 diabetes are kids.
Right.
They used to call it juvenile diabetes.
Okay, got it.
And that's what I have.
You have type 1.
I have type 1.
Which is insulin injunctions.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and that's what my father has. He got it mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess doctors just looked at me and they're like, he weighs $140 or whatever I weighed at the time, and I was like,
were you $140?
Yeah, I was pretty skinny.
Wow.
And so yeah, they diagnosed me with all these ridiculous diseases. One doctor, a gastrointestinologist, told me I had intestinal migraines.
What the fuck?
And I was just like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. And then I went home and I Googled it, and it was like, it's disputed whether this is a real disease.
Oh,
I'm just
great.
like,
what the fuck?
How can you tell people stuff knowing that Google exists?
It's disputed whether this is a real disease. And you're drinking at the time.
Yeah, I was drinking.
Were you a heavy drinker, social?
It's a pretty heavy drinker.
Comedy store drinker?
Yeah, I mean, I live 2 blocks from the Comedy Store, and I drank not every night, but close to every night.
But
probably.
that doesn't help the stomach.
No, it doesn't. There was like a year where I quit when the stomach issue started.
Yep.
And it didn't help.
So you're like,
so I'm like, I'll go back to boozing.
Okay.
And then, you get 5 beers in, you're like, I feel all right.
I feel pretty good all of a sudden.
And then you go home and throw up again. You're like, well, it was probably just because of the normal stuff. And
God, this must have been just a terrible time of your life.
It was pretty brutal.
You're always sick.
Yeah, I mean, it was terrible. I had a regular job that I lost because I was sick so often. And
oh, fuck.
It was pretty terrible, and I just didn't know what to do. I mean,
yep.
I'd go to doctors, and they'd always tell me something. For a while, they thought I might have Crohn's disease, and then they gave me medication for that, and it didn't do anything.
And you have no health care.
No, yeah, none.
So every time someone recommends, you better go see a specialist, you're thinking
there's
going to be
5,
4
10
grand.
Yeah,
exactly. God damn it.
Yeah, I had to get like a upper endoscopy at one point. It was like 13 grand or something. And
so what'd you do?
I just kept not paying it, and then they called me and I'd be like, yeah, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
And eventually they sent me a updated bill that was like, instead of 13 grand, what about like 1,200?
Correct.
And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I can do that.
So yeah, I ended up paying that. And
I mean, I had
who knows what they charged someone else or state or whatever it was.
I had a doctor in New York tell me, because I was under the same, I wasn't sick. I was getting physical therapy, which is probably the opposite of being sick. I was so healthy that I hurt my body, and then I was like getting a shoulder. But he was like, when you get a bill, he's like, it's not a bill. It's the beginning of negotiations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a fucking doctor telling me this.
Yeah, it's
like,
a racket, man.
It's
crazy.
a racket. It's a fucking racket. Call the hospital and say, I can give you this right now. If you don't take it now, I'm not going to give you this. And you can start negotiating.
Yeah.
And this is health by capitalism.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Oh, it's insanely corrupt and terrible, and it basically goes back to the doctor's office assuming everyone has insurance.
Correct.
And so basically they're going to try and gouge the insurance company, and the insurance company is going to do that same exact thing. They're like, we're not paying you that. We'll give you this.
Just keep.
And then they just, okay. And so as a person, you don't realize that's what you can do.
Yeah.
But it's essentially the same thing. It's like they're just they'll charge the maximum amount for anything they can.
Correct.
And assume that the insurance company who's charging ridiculous premiums will have the money to pay it, and whatever it is.
What would you tell someone in your situation who's not feeling well, is sick, clearly sick, and doesn't have insurance? What would you tell someone listening to that?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, was it good to not pay all that shit and just say, fuck you, I'm not paying?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's
screwed up.
That's all you could do. But once I figured out that was the deal, it's like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
And, you still end up paying some. I still end up having to pay several $1,000s over a couple of years, whatever it was. But it's way better than the $35,000 that I was initially billed for all these random doctors and specialists and stuff.
My ex-girlfriend was German. Still is German, just not my girlfriend anymore. And while living in Los Angeles, had an appendectomy, right?
Appendicitis. Yeah.
Appendicitis. So she gets her bill, and it's like 36 grand. It was overnight stay, blah, 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 all this bullshit. So we go for the checkup consultation, and they send in a financial counselor to first talk to her and say, your insurance isn't covering this, and I'm here to, console you, be a professional I'm sorry person.
Yeah, basically be like, it would be great if you would pay it all.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. And it was just like, whoa, this is our system. Anyways, the insurance did cover it. There's no problem at all. But I was fascinating to see that they literally send in a social worker that's like, do you want a hug? This is gonna suck.
Yeah,
it's fucked up.
When I eventually found out I was diabetic, and this is my worst birthday story.
Great. We get there eventually.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you is, first of all, when is your birthday?
My birthday is April 24th.
April 24. Okay. And do you like this time of year for a birthday?
Yeah.
That's all you know.
It's always enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, it was towards the end of the school year.
Yep.
So, as a kid, when birthdays really mean something, I still got to bring treats, and we were already basically, it's almost summer mode. So everyone was pretty happy.
I mean, Kansas City, if it's anything like Michigan, it's like April, May are pretty sweet.
Yeah,
this winter is wrapping up.
You get 2 months in the spring and 2 months in the fall, and the rest of the year is garbage. It's hot and humid or freezing. And
Kansas City is so fucking hot.
Yeah.
I mean, those July. I used to play a tennis tournament in the city center there.
Oh yeah.
The ambulance was coming so often. These are professional athletes.
Yeah.
The ambulance was coming so often. It just stayed.
Yeah,
they just sent an ambulance. It was like heat exhaustion, heat stroke. It's crazy.
Yeah, I ran cross country in high school because I was a baller.
You're a baller.
And the first 2 races of the year was basically at least 10% of the race is going to pass out.
It's going to pass out, and that's August, September, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it's always just like, if we can just survive until the fall.
Don't collapse. Yeah.
We will be okay.
All right, so April 24th.
Yeah.
And so that's a good time.
Yeah.
Now, when you're older in life, you're sick. And tell me what happened.
As I was approaching my 30th birthday, I was as sick as I'd ever been, like way sicker than the normal. And I mean, my previous couple years of illness was like I would throw up probably 8 to 9 times a week.
Wow.
Like, always sick. And there'd be like 3 or 4 days where I'd be fine.
After eating or just
it kind of didn't really, there was no real pattern to it.
Yeah.
And like I went to New York with Bobby Lee one time, and we did Caroline's, and I was sick the whole week, and no idea why.
Could you perform?
I was hosting, so I would go up, host, go backstage, lay down on the concrete floor in the green room bathroom.
Yep.
For whatever reason, the coolness would kind of calm me down, make me feel a little better. Then I would get up and go back out and bring up someone and go back and lay down on the floor, and Bobby would just be like,
"What the
dude,
fuck?
You can't die because people are going to blame me for this."
Dude, we got a sold-out late show. You can't die.
Like, oh.
Yeah. Isn't it weird, though, when you're not feeling well, and you were obviously sick, but when you get on stage, somehow your body kind of pushes through it?
It was the only time during any day where I felt good, was the adrenaline kind of took over, and I didn't feel sick at all when I was on stage. And for about 30 minutes after a set.
I'll have like diarrhea on the road.
Sure.
And I'll go on stage and I'll be like, how am I going to get through this?
Yeah.
For an hour, I'm great.
Fine. Yeah.
And then you get off stage and it's fucking
right
half
back
an hour
to it.
right back to it. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 30. You're about to turn 30.
Yeah, I'm approaching 30 and I'm getting real sick at this point. I start losing a lot of weight.
How much are you puking? You said you were puking 8 times a week.
At this point, I'm throwing up every day.
It's got to be terrible and disgusting.
Yeah, it just feels awful. And
throw up mouth all the time.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry if I'm making you relive this.
No, it's all good. So for like about a month ahead of my 30th birthday, I started getting real sick, and I at this point I've done a couple TV commercials, and I have SAG health insurance.
Okay, nice.
So I'm like finally like, hey, you know what? At least I can go see a doctor now, and I'm not going to have to pay for all of it. Mm-hmm. So I called the SAG clinic up in Burbank or whatever it is.
Don't get me started on these motherfuckers.
Yeah. They're like, well, the first appointment we have is on April 24th, on my birthday.
Your birthday.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's about 27 days away or something. It's end of March at this point. But I'm just like, okay, we'll do it. That's fine.
Yep.
That's as soon as I can get. Then
I mean, is that? By the way, the doorbell rings in my apartment 3 times in 2 years, and it's always been during a podcast. What the fuck? Hold on. Pause. Jesus Christ.
That was awesome, by the way.
What was awesome?
Just lean out the window.
Hey, it's Michael. I'm doing a podcast. Only, of course, in L.A. Hey, I'm doing a podcast. Can you leave the fucking delivery? It's a delivery. I'm sorry about this. Jeez, we got Walter. Man. We got Office Depot. This is why it's nice to have a studio. You hear those people that want to fucking sponsor this thing? So why didn't you go to the emergency room?
Because I'd been sick for so long at that point. It just seemed like okay, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It can wait. It's not going to get better.
And you needed a specialist probably of some kind.
I did.
A stomach. This is specifically stomach.
Yeah, it was stomach issues, and that's kind of what I was seeing. But no one ever tells you when you're growing up that a doctor basically knows whatever he specializes in.
Correct.
And nothing else.
Right. And
like if you go to like a general practitioner, it basically just means they have no expertise on anything other than like you have the flu, take some Tamiflu. Strep throat, here's some antibiotics.
I always hate that I don't know what kind of doctor I'm supposed to go to.
Yeah.
So I literally Google, like, what is shoulder pain doctor?
Right.
Because general practitioner is just general, but they never solve the problem. Ever.
Yeah, ever. Yeah,
correct.
They very clearly can solve, like, the 4 simplest illnesses.
Yep.
And it's always an antibiotic or some sort of anti-nausea medication. Right. So I set up the thing at the SAG clinic because they told me I'd have to see them, get a recommendation from them before I go to a specialist for SAG to cover it, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so I kept getting sicker and sicker. And in that time from when I set up the appointment until the appointment on my birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I lost about 35 pounds.
1 month.
Yeah.
25 days.
Yeah. I went from about 140, 145 to like just under 120.
Are you serious?
And I'm just under 6 foot tall. So, I mean, I was looking like Holocaust victim.
Your bones.
Scary. And like I was still performing. I go to the Comedy Store, and like 2 nights before, for like a week leading up to it, people were starting to get fairly concerned.
Someone told me, and I forget who it was. Maybe it was the night I asked you to do this, but someone said like when Rick was sick, there was a time when we had to like say to him, "Hey man, this is getting bad."
Yeah.
You must have known.
Yeah, I mean, I knew something was going on. Just the weight loss was kind of a big thing. But like, I'm Googling all throughout this, trying to figure out. Basically, you just always have cancer.
Right.
That's just the deal. Like, I probably have stomach cancer, and my body's not, taking nutrients in because the tumor's so big or whatever.
Are you able to eat?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But, it's been a couple of years, I just can't eat that much ever because I get so sick.
And cancer's always crazy because we don't even know what cancer is anyways. It's like cancer just is this word we use.
Yeah.
It just means super fucked.
A ton of different types of abnormalities of cells.
Not easy to say. So you're convinced that some shit's bad.
Yeah. And then Boone Shakalaka, the transient salesman at the Comedy Store, came up to me and told me...
He's not homeless. I don't know if he's homeless.
He's kind of homeless, yeah.
He sells records and books and paintings. He comes by the Comedy Store. Great character.
Yeah, a totally bizarre, weird guy, but definitely looks like a transient.
Sure.
And he came up and he said, "Rick Ingraham, you look like you got AIDS." And I was just like, man, life is not good. It's not good.
Would there be any chance you had AIDS?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, there shouldn't be any reason.
But, I mean, you hadn't fucked some
I didn't have
hooker somewhere without a condom and,
No. I mean, there wasn't any sort of suspicious...
drug use or whatever? No. Okay.
No, I mean, I smoked pot, but I wasn't shooting up. Yeah, I wasn't shooting up, that's for sure.
Did it cross your mind? Did that scare you when you said that?
I mean, I was already pretty freaked out.
Yeah.
But, like, hearing that was just one of those things where it's like... I got to do something,
especially from him.
Yeah, basically everyone was kind of saying stuff to me about it. Jade Catapretta was just like, "You look terrible."
Yeah,
I was like, "Thank you, Jade."
Thank you, Jade, for yeah.
She's like, "No, you're sick."
She was probably working there then, or
she was.
Okay, all right.
And I was just like, "Yes, I'm aware. I have a doctor's appointment in a couple days. I'm gonna go."
Yeah, that's tough.
And PDC. Yeah. He's a buddy of mine, and he would just start yelling at people. He's like, "He knows he's sick. Leave him the fuck alone." I was just like, "Thank you, Pete."
Thank you, Pete.
So on my birthday, it's my 30th birthday.
Are you dating anyone at this time? Are you?
Yeah, I'd been with my wife for probably 2.5, 3 years at that point, just dating.
Okay,
we weren't married yet. We were still just a couple.
And what year was this?
This would have been 2011.
Okay, so fairly recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went to the...
Wow, she's really dealing with a lot, too.
Yeah,
her boyfriend is fucking not feeling well.
Yeah, like our third date was me projectile vomiting the Chinese food we ate, and her just being like, "No, it's cool.
This is cool. I really care for this." Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's stuck around. So
yeah, that's amazing.
So I go to the SAG clinic, and I'm thinking... I'm supposed to see some doctor named Dr. Rose. I'm thinking, this guy, he sounds legit. That sounds like a good doctor name.
Dr. Rose. It's your 30th birthday.
30th birthday. And so I get in there, and I'm emaciated and pale. And,
are you excited? You're probably, I know, like, even minor health problems I've had, when I finally get to the doctor, I'm excited, like, maybe this can be fixed.
This could help.
Yes.
So I get to the doctor, and I'm kind of giving him the rundown of what's going on. And at this point, I had the added effect beyond the throwing up of I'm drinking water nonstop.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is typical symptoms of becoming a diabetic. Yeah.
And for like the last 2 weeks of that, I'm drinking a lot of water. I have to go to the bathroom all the time.
Tons of water.
Yeah, like gallons of water, nonstop.
So you can't quench your thirst.
No matter what. If I drink a full liter of water, I want another liter within 10 minutes.
And this is because my father told me the same thing, and it used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because if I was thirsty, it's like, of course, I have diabetes.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's because I don't get it. I don't understand why.
You when you're not converting carbs into energy,
sure,
your body starts putting a thing called ketones in your blood, and it's very bad for your body. And so the excessive amounts of water is an attempt of your body to flush out the ketones.
Interesting.
And so I get to the doctor, and I kind of explain it to him, and he's probably early 30s, black dude, braids down to like mid-back.
I mean, am I judging? Yes, I'm judging. Sorry, you don't exactly expect your I was judging more of the age.
Yeah.
I want a fucking expert here.
Yeah.
Not a guy that just graduated from school.
I mean, he's very clearly new, at least to the profession of being a doctor, and he's a general practitioner on top of it.
Right.
So,
and it's SAG on top of it. You know, it's some cheap-ass doctor.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he checks my blood sugar. First person to do it. And then he's like, huh, okay, well.
First doctor to check your blood sugar level.
Out of all of them. And
these things it takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if someone would have suggested it to me, I could have gone to CVS
on your own,
paid $30 and gotten a tester and some testing strips.
Jeez, and if I blame the Comedy Store too. Can somebody there stop ordering shots of Jameson and fucking know this?
Anybody? Somebody
should have gone, hey, bro, check your fucking blood sugar level. It's so he checks your blood sugar,
and then he says, you know what? I think you might be diabetic. I want to do a 12-hour fasting blood test. So tonight, don't eat anything after 8 o'clock.
What was your blood sugar level? Do you remember?
He didn't tell me.
Oh, fuck.
And I wouldn't have known what it meant anyway. But he didn't say anything. He just told me he thought I was diabetic. And so don't eat anything after 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't remember what it was. And then come in tomorrow 12 hours after that.
What does that accomplish?
It gives you a more accurate reading of.
There's no food.
No food to raise it.
Okay, yeah.
So whatever your standing blood sugar level would be, I suppose. And
I'm just picturing you having to fast at your birthday.
Yeah.
No birthday cake.
Nothing.
No fucking celebration. It sucks.
It's just like, okay. But again, it's kind of like you said. It's like, you know what? Maybe
it'll help.
It'll be the process to me getting help.
Yeah.
So I went home and just kind of dealt with it. Felt sick for the day and ate dinner. Whatever before the time frame he wanted me to eat dinner.
No spot that night.
No spot.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was kind of avoiding the Comedy Store just because I didn't want to hear about how sick I looked.
Jade got a product telling you looked like a fucking
like
ghost.
I was dying, yeah. And then about midnight or so, I got really sick. And one of the things that would kind of help calm me down from throwing up excessively was I would take either really hot showers or a hot bath.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like taking like an athlete going in the hot tub. It just relaxes your muscles and whatever it is. And
you also have a lot of probably mental anxiety.
Yeah.
Just what's happening to me? I haven't felt great. I mean, there's
am I going to be dead?
Am I dead? Yeah, exactly. Right.
And so I would get in the shower. I took a shower and then got out and felt sick immediately. So I filled the bathtub up. I took a bath. I felt fine. Not great, but I felt fine when I was in the bath. And I laid in the bath for like an hour. And then I got out, got sick again.
Is someone with you? Is your girlfriend with you?
She's asleep.
Okay.
And because I'm trying not to bother other people. It's my issues, whatever it is.
Which I've got a feeling, Rick, is maybe something that's something in your personality.
Yeah.
It's Midwest as well.
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry about my bloody head over here. I'm fine. Yes, correct.
So I stayed in the bathtub from essentially midnight until about 6:30 in the morning.
No shit.
Just filling it up with hot water, getting back in it, and in the morning, my girlfriend's alarm. She goes to work really early, so her alarm went off a little before 6 or whatever.
You spent your 30th birthday night in a bathtub the whole night, refilling it with hot water. You obviously weren't concerned about the drought.
No. This was pre-drought, I wasn't keen on the drought situation.
Okay,
I might have caused the drought that night.
Jesus.
But she came in and she was like, "What are you doing? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." Yeah. And then she was like, "You're not fine.
Yeah.
We need to go to the hospital." I'm like, "It's fine. I got to go to the doctor's office in a few minutes or whatever at 8 o'clock. She's like, "All right, I'm taking off work. I'm going to take you to the SAG clinic.
Yep.
I'm demanding that we don't go to the emergency room."
Right.
So she takes
money, fear
of money,
and also the 5-hour wait.
Yeah,
all
it's
that.
like, this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And, so she takes me to the SAG clinic, and I'm so sick they can't even draw my blood because I'm just so dehydrated from throwing up so much.
Man.
And, so
is that doctor there?
They have me go in with a different doctor.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, tell me what's going on. I'm like, well, Dr. Rose said that he thought, I'm just putting this doctor on blast, poor guy. He said
he's a big listener.
He said,
well, he was the first one to maybe even do what was helpful. Yeah.
And I said, he told me yesterday he thinks I might be diabetic, but they can't take my blood. They can't find a vein or whatever it is. And then he just opens my charts and he just goes, yeah, you need to go to the emergency room immediately.
Fuck me.
And I was like, really? I mean, I don't know that my insurance covers that. And he's like, all insurance covers that.
Yeah.
Some insurance only covers that.
Right.
You don't have a choice. Even if this costs you everything you own, you need to go to the emergency room right now. I was just like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So my wife drives me to the emergency room.
You still don't know what your blood sugar level was.
No. I find out later from calling and just getting my records to send to my endocrinologist that it was 470.
Wow.
And it should never be above 150.
Wow.
So, in theory, Dr. Rose should have been like, you need to go to the emergency room right now.
Right then. That's too high.
Yeah.
I mean, they say, so when you haven't been diagnosed yet, it's possible it was that high for extended periods of time.
Yeah. And then I'll come back to this, but all my stomach issues were from ketoacidosis, which is all just a side effect of high blood sugar. So I probably had a blood sugar over 200 to 300 for a couple years.
For years.
Yeah. And basically my pancreas was shutting down.
Sure.
It hadn't completely shut down yet, so it was still producing some insulin. And
got it. So you maybe feel better, then you feel worse. And oh my. Okay. So
I go to the emergency room.
I'm so happy your girlfriend took the day off.
Yeah, me too. God, me too. We get to the emergency room and there's no wait. We get there and they just have a wheelchair waiting for me. My doctor had called ahead and been like,
"Whoa, valet!
You need to take care of this guy before he dies today."
That's probably when you also knew, "Fuck, I'm actually sick."
Yeah, I was like, "This isn't a good sign at all."
Oh,
and at this point, I could barely walk. That's how bad it has gotten.
No shit.
My muscles are so weak that I'm just like. My girlfriend's helping me into the doctor's office. Like I just sprained my ankle in a basketball game, type thing.
Except you sprained your pancreas 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Is this shock? Is this just the body is like reaching its final stages?
I mean, basically, what's happening is my body is producing so much excessive stomach acid in an attempt to burn any carb I put in my body into basically waste.
Right.
And
so our body does have a emergency plan. It's just we can't always.
It's just not. It'll help momentarily, but it's just not a
long-term
plan.
So you're barely being able to walk. The wheelchair's their valet service.
They take me straight into the ICU and hook me up.
Which hospital?
St. Joseph's
in
Burbank.
In Burbank, okay.
It's
sure, that's a fun time every time you drive by that thing.
Yeah, it's nice. You got on the 134. And,
hey, when my life was fucking over.
And I spent 3 days in the ICU and 2 more days in the hospital after that. And within an hour, they sent in an endocrinologist who's still my endocrinologist.
What is it? What is endocrinology?
It's doctors who specialize in diabetes, metabolism, and thyroid disease.
Got it.
And he just basically said, you're diabetic. And we just looked at your blood results, and you have antibodies in your blood that have been attacking your pancreas, which means you have type 1 diabetes.
Yep.
Your blood sugar is off the charts. Your A1C, which is basically an average of 3 months, the last 3 months of your blood sugar, was he handed me a chart, and it went from 5 to 13.5. And he's like, yours would be about 15.3, but it's not going to show up on this chart.
It doesn't even show up on the fucking chart we have.
The hospital chart. So
Jesus. So when you go in and you're this bad, can they inject you with insulin right away, or would that even be a problem? Or do they make you feel better right away?
No, I feel sick for as long as I was in the ICU. I felt terrible.
Felt sick.
They were giving me insulin. But my body was just so wrecked at that point that I was on a morphine drip for 3 days just so that I wouldn't be in agony.
Dude, I'm gonna share this with like diabetic groups and stuff too, because this is important for people to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, this got fucking terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. My doctor was basically like, you're like a week away from your body shutting down.
Just saying,
and
fuck
dying.
this.
And
he's your guy now.
Yeah, he's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because he's seen you.
He brought me back from the underworld.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a brief period where he didn't accept. He moved to a different clinic or whatever, and he works for UCLA, a medical company now or whatever it is. And there was a brief time where they didn't accept SAG insurance, and I was just panicking, like, man, what am I going to do?
I need this guy. Yeah.
So I waited like 6 months until I needed to go see a doctor again, whatever, and refill my prescriptions, and then called his office to try and get stuff transferred, and they're like, "Oh no, well we accept your insurance now." I was like, "Thank God."
Oh God, that's huge.
So yeah, he's still my endocrinologist. And my wife actually has a thyroid issue, so he's her doctor as well now.
There we go. So it's all worth it for him.
Yeah,
let's get that extra bucks.
He's making a lot of dime off the Ingram family.
So 3 days later,
I started feeling better, but all my numbers were still off. So they kept me 2 more days at the hospital, and
is this
a way less nice room.
Are they teaching you how to be a diabetic then as well?
Yeah, they're kind of showing me basically how it works. And
were you scared about? Were you happy? You knew what was going on? Were you disappointed? Were you sad?
I was really depressed about it.
Yeah,
just because it's like one of those things where in my head, I couldn't, like, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
And I didn't understand at the time fully that all my illnesses for the last couple of years is completely connected to this.
Sure.
So now I'm thinking, like, so now I got to deal with this on top of feeling sick.
My stomach is shitty, and I'm a diabetic.
Yeah, and
you're not drawing the conclusion.
Yeah,
interesting.
And I really felt sorry for myself, more or less.
Sure.
Just kind of one of those things where it's like I felt like I needed to cry all the time. Just like, I know all these fat people.
I know.
And they get to eat whatever they want.
How come Ralphie May gets to fucking tour the country? And exactly. Yeah.
So I'm really frustrated with it. And then they're teaching me how to give myself shots and stuff, which really freaked me out. Yeah. I've always been just really scared of needles type of guy.
Sure.
Not anymore, obviously. But
So you inject now?
Yeah, I do. I do at least 4 shots every day.
Yep.
And I test my blood sugar 4 or 5 times a day, and I eat really healthy now. I mean, I had a pretty standard comedian diet back then, where it's just I eat a lot of chicken fingers,
so many chicken
pizza,
fingers,
and
fried
just
mozzarella.
garbage. Yeah.
And probably 10 beers.
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 beers, it's like still too many beers.
Yeah, way too many beers.
Yeah, which is just glucose.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't your body turn that into fucking sugar?
Everything just turns into carbs.
Yeah, and carbs and sugar, yeah.
Like over the years before I found out, I'm thinking, I got to eat something kind of healthy. And so I'm like making myself pasta and stuff and just killing my body even worse.
Yeah, well, you don't know. Yeah.
And I just didn't, I mean, by the time I got out of the hospital, I had a pretty decent understanding, a crash course. And basically, this is what your life is going to look like now. Yep. And so I got out.
And when did you start to feel better?
About maybe 2 weeks after.
Okay.
I had a lot of really weird kind of things happen to me after I got out, in terms of like my body adjusting to stuff. Like, I've had glasses since I was in the 4th grade.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, for 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital, my eyesight was perfect.
Crazy.
Like, I couldn't, if I put my glasses on, then it was like when you wear contacts and glasses.
Your body's fucking healing itself.
Yeah.
It's like the Wolverine.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then my eyesight went back to being bad, but not as bad as it had been. So I had to get new.
Of course, you
glasses.
don't have eye insurance either. So now you got to go fucking do this, right?
Bastards. But yeah, so it was kind of bizarre. It was like 2 weeks. I didn't really do anything. I had a spot at the Laugh Factory. I went and did that because it was one of those thoughts of like, if I miss this, they're going to punish me.
I mean, every comic sits in this chair and they tell me some fucked up story about their life. And then they're like, but I had to do a spot, so we're going. I'm going, no, dude, take care. Your wife just said she wants to divorce you, Jeff Tate. Stop booking shows. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking problem, man.
Yeah.
God, but it's whatever it is, yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to go, and if I have a great show, then I'm going to start getting regular spots there again.
Right.
But instead, I just went basically still sick as fuck. I had to have someone drive me there because my eyes were so adjusting that I was I just wasn't comfortable driving at night.
Right.
And I just had like the most average set ever, and no one was there of importance.
No one was there anyways.
It made no difference.
He made $15 or whatever it was. Yeah. Shit.
So then about 2 weeks after that, I felt normal. Mm-hmm. I felt better than I'd felt in
was that
6
nice?
years. It was great.
It was great.
And then for like 3-4 months after that, it was just like I felt awesome. I was very happy. It was just like, holy shit.
Holy shit. And I'm okay.
All of this is gone now.
Gone.
I haven't thrown up once since I got out of the hospital.
Isn't that insane?
It's just, I eat really healthy now. I eat vegetables most of the time. That's like what my diet consists of. And,
okay. And you're... is there anything that it limits you in doing besides maybe eating chocolate cake all the time?
Yeah, I can't eat some things. That's pretty much the main limitation.
And no stomach problems now?
None.
And you feel good?
Yeah, feel healthy and
sharp mentally?
Yeah, way better.
I was so terrified of becoming a diabetic when I was a kid because my dad, he was like 4 kids. Family, work, blah, blah. And every once in a while, he would get low sugar.
Yep.
And he would turn into kind of a weird person. Like he would kind of, I wouldn't say aggressive, but he would just kind of bark, and that was not my dad.
That happens to me.
That happens to you, yeah. And so
my wife will be like, check your blood sugar.
Check your blood. And so we used to have this rule in our house where it was like, because something that was weird about it was when we would say, Dad, we think your blood sugar is low. When he would have low blood sugar, he would go, no, it's not, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's not fine. But we knew when he would argue with us that it was, we were right.
Yeah.
We were right.
I go through the same thing.
Okay, so anyways, as a 10-year-old, that scared the shit out of me.
Sure.
I was so afraid of becoming diabetic. And then my dad, he managed it. He turned a switch and he managed it wonderfully. He has since then. And I'm baffled at he completely full life. Yeah. It doesn't... Yes, he's got to. Every once in a while, he's got to take a shot. He's got to manage it, but he does everything he wants to do.
Yeah. I don't feel any sort of restrictions. I don't eat dessert, but that's okay. I can live without that. Yeah. And
it's probably better, anyways.
Yeah, I'm definitely way healthier.
Yeah.
I don't drink anymore. I very rarely eat crap.
Sure.
Every once in a while, I'll be like, man, screw it. I'm going to give myself a little more insulin and eat chicken fingers and French fries.
Sure, you can adjust that way.
Yeah. And I can deal with that, and I have no complications from it or whatever.
Do you miss booze?
Sometimes. When I'm at the Comedy Store, I miss it.
Yeah.
And especially on like a Friday night, everyone up there is just hammered.
Yeah.
And like everyone's so wasted, and it's just really frustrating. I'm just like, man, I don't want to.
It is fun.
And like, Argus Hamilton.
Sure.
He's sober. He's been sober 28 years, 30 years, whatever it is now. And when I first got out of the hospital and I came back, everyone at the Comedy Stores, word got around or whatever, and people were very supportive. And
no one told you to check your fucking blood sugar, but they're supportive when you come back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he was in the hospital and he's got diabetes. He doesn't have the cancer.
Yeah.
He doesn't have AIDS.
Boom shakalaka.
So I came back, and if I was at the Comedy Store, I pretty much always had a Budweiser in my hand.
Sure.
Always.
Sure.
So when I came back, I saw Argus, and he said, hey, Rich, I want to talk to you if you got a minute. He always calls me Rich. I don't know why. And
it's a great Argus impression.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He pulls me aside after his set or whatever, and he's just like, heard you had to quit drinking. I said, yeah, just for now. The doctor said I could probably have some beers if I wanted, in a couple of years once I get under control, but I probably won't do that just because I'm more of a drink a lot of beers, not a couple beers kind of guy.
I'm with you.
And he said, well, you should come to AA with me. I said, I'm good. I just got out of hospital, and this isn't like I need to stop this because
alcohol wasn't what got me in the hospital.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just like I'm not yelling at my girlfriend.
Correct.
Wasted. Correct. So I need to get control of my life.
Correct.
I just can't be doing this. And he said, well, you're one of the lucky ones. I was like, really? I wish I would have had a health scare that would have made me quit. It's like, okay.
You did. It's called alcoholism. That's what you fucking had, bro. Yeah.
It's called abusing the owner of a comedy club occasionally when you got too wasted. But
oh, that's funny.
So, yeah. So then after that, it's been good.
Yeah. I mean, Argus is one of these guys that he's there to help when people want help. You know, that's funny, but he also probably saw, you know, a little bit of himself in you, blah blah blah. But for you, it was that you had unmanaged. You were an undiagnosed diabetic. Yeah, that's funny.
That was my issue.
Did anybody sing you happy birthday that 30th?
No. It was, and because I'd been sick for so long, in my mind, it was literally just like this is what getting older is like. I'm almost 30.
It doesn't have to be like that.
This is just you got to pee more. It makes sense.
You got to drink water all the time. I'm 30.
That's what being 30 is.
What is? I always like to finish with this, and that is, what is a great birthday that you've had that comes to mind? You know, any experience you've had.
My 25th birthday was by far my most glorious. I was. Been in the Comedy Store a couple of years, and I was pretty much up there almost every night. And I didn't have a spot that night, but I went up there just because it was my birthday.
Sure.
Again, I live 2 blocks away.
And also, people that don't know the Comedy Store, it's such a community.
Yeah.
It's a community of...
It's a fraternity
of everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, every sexuality, gender, race, and... I don't want to say degenerates but you just have everything.
And there's a lot of degenerates. It's okay to say that.
No, but there are, but not everybody is.
Right.
Maybe it's because I don't want to be.
Yeah.
But it's like there's rich, there's poor, and it's just a big clubhouse of fucking fun.
Yeah. And there's lots of merriment, people drinking, and smoking pot, and doing whatever they want.
Whatever you want.
Coke back in the day.
There's
There's probably still lots of Coke.
There's still lots of Coke, but it's not. From what I understand, it used to just be like
it was insane. Mountains, thunder bumps every minute.
Thunder bumps.
So I went up there on my 25th, and about 10:30 or so, I was probably about 4 or 5 beers in, and standing at the back door. And back then, I used to do. There was about 5 solid years where I would just get drunk and turn into drunk Argus. That was my character.
Oh, fun. You got to play Argus.
Yeah, I just did Argus as if... At first, it was just me being Argus, making fun of him.
Sure.
And then Johnny Carson died, and I started doing drunk Argus as if Argus went off the wagon.
I'm so upset that Carson
died. And then, like, that's how I met Dice, was through doing Argus.
Oh, no shit.
And him being like... Hey, August, what year do you think it is? I'd be like, it's 1984, and I'm ready to party. And he'd be like, you're crazy, August.
That's funny.
So, like, I'd be up there, and people would just, even if I was just being normal, they'd be like, hey, Argus. And then I would just immediately go into it because I was a young comic that just loved the attention.
The attention was fun, yeah.
People think I was funny or whatever. Stayed in the back door, and I went into the back bar and got another beer, and then walked out in the hallway, and... Dean, the old manager, was standing there.
I know Dean.
So I started talking to Dean, and I look over, and Robin Williams walked in.
What?
Was just kind of standing at the bottom of the steps of the OR looking in. And then Dean was like, hey, it's Robin Williams. I'm like, I got this, Dean. And he's like, no. And I was already halfway down the hallway. I just walked up to him, and I said, hey, Robin, the Todd's looking for you. He said you owe him $1,800 for that 8-ball. And Robin Williams just looked all shocked and then started laughing. And he goes, what? And I said, the Todd is looking for you. And he just goes running out of the hallway. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then he comes running back in. He's like, how the hell do you know who I bought Coke from in the 80s?
Oh, my God. That's great.
I said, well, there's a photo of you guys hanging up. And he's like, are you Argus Hamilton? And I started kind of messing with him, and he just immediately jumped on. And then a group surrounded us, and we went to the back bar. Someone was like, hey, it's your birthday. Let me get you a shot. And he's like, it's your birthday. Let's do shots. So now I'm walking to the back bar with Robin Williams, and we're doing shots of tequila, and there's probably 20 people surrounding us and like 4 people in the OR watching the comedy show.
That's bigger audience in the bar.
So we basically did Robin and Drunk Argus for like 2 hours. We did about 6 shots of tequila.
Sure.
Went and smoked a couple joints.
Oh, man.
And I'm just loving it. I'm like, this is so great.
Yeah.
And then you know, and I'm running through his whole career, telling him how all of it's garbage and it's never going to work.
As drunk Argus.
Yeah. Listen, this TV show about the alien, no one's going to watch that crap. He's like, it's pretty popular, Argus. No one's going to watch it. No season 2. Not a chance in hell. And he was just loving it. I went on stage, great. And he came and was yelling stuff at me. And
I mean, it's intoxicating. The energy of this place on a good night, it's intoxicating without the booze, without the drugs, whatever. It's just moments like this.
Yeah.
It's a special moment.
Yeah, so and then, you know, he gave me advice about comedy, and I was doing crowd work then. He was telling me, you know, just keep doing it. You can either...
That's awesome.
Do what everyone else does and, you know, get bit parts on sitcoms from time to time, or you can be you and have a chance at being the star of whatever you want to be a star of.
Whatever they can, yeah, exactly.
And I still haven't achieved anything. It's been 10 years, that son of a bitch. But
maybe that's why he killed himself. It's terrible advice.
Felt that.
Yeah.
So then, end of that night, you know, he was like, I haven't been this fucked up in a long time, and I was like, sweet.
That's to say, I thought he was like sober even.
Yeah,
maybe he was.
He was, and
okay.
he had apparently started drinking a couple weeks before that, like a little bit here and there.
Yeah,
but this night we just got wasted, and so the next
good,
night,
I guess.
Yeah, cool experience.
Cool, maybe. Okay.
Felt bad later. The next night, Don Barris saw me and was like, hey, that was pretty cool last night. I was telling Kimmel about it, and he seemed kind of disturbed because, you know, Robin's been sober for like 15, 20 years. And I was like, really?
15, 20 years?
Yeah. And so then I'm just kind of feeling a little bad. Like, I mean, he asked me to do a shot.
Right. It's not your fault, right?
But, and then maybe... within a month of my birthday, Robin Williams checked into rehab.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, I've been partying again, and it's wrong. And
it wasn't you, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't fucking you. I mean...
I saw him like a year later. He came in, and I just, you know, I apologized anyway.
Yeah,
It's like, I'd been drinking for a couple of weeks. I just hadn't taken it to that level.
Yeah. So he recalled it all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He said it was fun, and as soon as he saw me, he was like, stay away from me, Argus. I'm like, listen, man.
that was abnormal too, yeah.
That was Argus. That wasn't me.
Exactly. Well, it is easier to get it to sometimes have poor behavior when you're like in a character, playing a character.
Way easier.
That's why the road
say inappropriate things.
The road. This isn't my home. I'm on the road.
Yeah.
It's a different person.
Right.
Yeah. That's a great birthday. Sorry to hear about Robin, but that's a fun 25th.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. It was super fun, and just someone I always respected. And, you know, enjoyed watching perform. So to be able to kind of improv with him and
that's great.
Have him enjoy it so much definitely made me feel like I must be pretty funny.
I got this. Yeah.
If this guy's loving it, so
that's cool. Rick Ingraham, thank you for being so honest with us.
Yeah, man.
It's not easy to talk about your own health, but thank you.
I'm good with it, yeah.
I'm sorry you had a shit 30th.
That's all right.
I'm happy you're healthy. You are healthy.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Just turned 35 and it's been 5 great years.
You got insulin in that bag?
I do.
Yes, you do. Good for you.
That's why I carry a backpack around. People are like, why do you have a backpack? I'm like, it's that or a fanny pack, and that's not going to get me made fun of less.
Yeah, well, it's all good. It's for your health. You can carry whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Man, 470 is a hell of a blood pressure or blood sugar level. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, in hindsight, when I got those records sent to me and I looked at it, I'm just like, this motherfucker. You think I might have diabetes?
It was good and bad. He thought to do it, but he should have. Yeah, that was a problem. Where can people find out more about your comedy? What's your Twitter handle?
It's just Rick Ingraham, RickIngraham, Ingraham.
Yep, okay.
On Facebook, Twitter.
Got it. Your Twitter's great. You call out a lot of bullshit, which I appreciate. There's some people that pander on Twitter.
Can't do it.
Sadly, most of the successful people on Twitter pander.
Yeah.
And you are not one of those people. And I appreciate. I mean, I appreciate it. Like, I try to not pander either. Sometimes it happens automatically. But
I'm trying to learn how to do all this stuff.
No, but fuck I mean, so many successful Twitter handles are just people kissing celebrities' ass and telling people what they want to hear, and that's not to me. That's not what stand-up comedy is.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I can't do. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Man.
Happy worst birthday to you.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's Rick Ingraham, everybody. Man, huh? That's just a great story. I mean, health concerns. Not even health concerns. He was sick. I mean, he was sick. His blood sugar level 470. Jesus Christ. The more you dig into the healthcare in this country, we're a fucking third world country when it comes to healthcare. Why is this man, he's literally dying in front of his friends, no weight, losing weight, throwing up, and he's afraid to go anywhere. He doesn't have any fucking money. I also love that the Comedy Store, nobody at the Comedy Store was like, hey man, you ever think you're a diabetic? Like one of the most common sicknesses. Oh man, it's great. I appreciate you, Rick, for coming and sharing all that honesty with us. It's nothing like health concerns to fuck you up. I mean, it's like even just something tiny that's nowhere relatable to him, like a toothache, it just ruins your entire life. I remember the last time I had a tooth problem, I remember calling somebody and I was just like, God, I can't imagine being poor. Like a real poor person, how much more shit they have to put up with. Because I didn't have dental care and I was going to these shitty dental offices, but I was still able to go to dental offices and I was able to pay for it. And that's not a poor person, but a poor person just has to have 9 different toothaches all at the same time. No money, 9 jobs, a car that breaks down. I mean, my car, every time I start my car, it starts. It's great. But I take that shit for granted, man. I walk out to my car. It's in good shape. It's where I parked it. No one's fucked with it. I press start, and it starts every time. It's amazing. And when you're sick, Rick was sick for 3 years. I'm so glad he's better. I'm so glad that some doctor, I don't know about Dr. Rose. Was he good or was he bad? He was good that he checked his blood sugar level. He's bad because he didn't say, go to the fucking emergency room right now. Oh, man. You got to see Rick Ingraham live. I mean, I love the story with Robin Williams, telling him how to perform and or giving him advice on what to do. You know, Rick does a lot of crowd work. And in some capacity, it hurts him because he doesn't have those credits, those stupid credits that go on a poster that I have, and they go on the poster. But Rick he's so tough to follow at the Comedy Store because he's so funny and he goes into the audience. And then when he's done, he gets off stage and you follow him and it's just like, oh shit, they don't want to hear just basic old material again. They want to see something different. And I really love watching Rick perform, and you should too. Please check out Rick Ingraham. I'll have his name and his Twitter on my Twitter, Michael Kosta. Please hashtag us, #WorstBDayPod. My website, michaelkosta.com. And the Comedy Store, if you're ever in LA, you got to come see this place. It is fascinating. It's dark, it's mysterious, it's dirty, it's raw, it's honest. It's got an edge, you know? Like you don't play with it because it'll cut you, but it's so fun. And it's a clubhouse. Male comics, female comics, male comics dressed as female comics, vice versa. Everyone is welcome. Sometimes you wish not everyone was welcome. Sometimes I'm there drinking on the back patio, and I'm like, why am I talking to this fucking asshole? Get away from me. Stop running bits on me, comic I've never heard of before or don't even know who you are. But it's just a fun place with people that don't give a shit about labels or being politically correct. And when it comes down to it, they are there for you, the Comedy Store. And it's just a special place. And Rick Ingraham is one of those guys that's been through so much there. So please check it out. It's on Sunset. Every single night of the week is great. I prefer the original room to all the rooms. There's the belly room upstairs, which is a small, intimate space. There's the main room, which is a huge space, seats around 300, if not more. It feels more like a Broadway showroom. And then there's the original room, which feels like you're in Midtown, New York, and it's dark as shit, you know, and you can't see everything that's going on. It's mysterious, and it's just raw. The comedy is raw there, and I love it. So please check out the Comedy Store. It's a special place, and I do think someday, sadly, we're going to lose it, you know? I know Mitzi's sick. No one really knows what's going on with her. Pauly Shore. His family owns it. Mitzi's his mom, and no one really knows what's. It's a prime real estate on Sunset Boulevard in L.A. House of Blues was across the street. They're tearing that place down, building some fucking luxury hotel or some shit, which, man, it would just suck to lose the Comedy Store. It's a special place. So, Rick Ingraham, ladies and gentlemen. Diabetics. Are you drinking tons of water? Are you pissing all the time? Man, it's interesting. I learned a lot about diabetes with that, and I feel like I know more than most people because of my dad. But that was a body shutting down. Holy shit. I just went to Walgreens or whatever, and I got like a blood pressure monitor. It's $40, and I can monitor my blood pressure. Rick said it in the podcast. If someone would have told him, he would have bought a blood sugar level reader, whatever it's called. It's certainly not called that, but it checks the sugar levels of your blood. You can buy all this shit pretty cheap. Fuck, you can probably use it and return it. But we do not value personal health like we should in this country. I'm not getting all political, but it's just retarded that a guy who's that sick is afraid to go to the fucking doctor and has to negotiate, has to take the energy to negotiate with an insurance company or a hospital about his own health and the cost of it. Oh, man. Don't even get me started on dentists. Those fucking guys. Everything's an upsell with a dentist. You guys, this is Michael Kosta. This is the Worst Birthday Podcast. Thank you for listening. Every Thursday, we have new Worst Birthday Stories. You can get all my live dates at michaelkosta.com. Hope to see you at a live show. Thanks for listening. This is the Worst Birthday Podcast.